Hey, it's me. Your path is blessed, even when it doesn't feel that way. When life turns rough, it's not because grace has left you. It's because you're meeting parts of your inner world that want your attention. To move through hard terrain, you need to understand what it means for you, and then the roadblocks begin to dissolve. We've spoken about this inner world before. Many people treat inner space as a metaphor for a mood or a thought. I see it as a real place. It's the living universe within. What we call outer life is its reflection. When we try to make sense of life only from the outside, it stays feeling slippery and often frightening. I know it can be hard to imagine that the inner world is the world. The difficulty comes from the way our senses are trained. The mind is used to time and space as being fixed. It only looks in one direction and calls that truth. But there is another way to see. Every path of the spirit points to it, whether it's stated or not. At a certain point, the inner vision wakes up. Sometimes it's sudden, but it always grows from the many quiet steps and many honest struggles. Even science notices patterns that hint at this. Time can stretch, space can fold, depending on where you stand. In the inner world, the measures change. You may lose contact with those who have died, for example, because they move by a different measure. They've not floated up to a far place. They've gone within. We look up to heaven because our eyes have learned to search outward. Yet the holy lives within. This is why stillness and prayer turn us inward. You often hear people tell you to not think, to let the mind grow empty, right? When they talk about meditation or stillness. It sounds simple. Of course, it's not, because the mind is busy. It fills the room with its own noise. But there's many ways to still it. Some people learn through long practice and silence. Our path, though, doesn't remove you from your life. We're trying to help you live in your world with clarity, kindness, and strength. And that can only happen when you know yourself and cross the rough places inside. Then the split between inner and outer closes. As inner truth grows, outer vision clears. As you reshape what is untrue in you, your outer life reshapes. As peace takes root within, you can meet the world with more peace, even when conditions are not ideal. You don't need perfect silence around you. You go right through the mess and learn that it can't swallow you. This is our way. Focusing on inner emptiness helps, but it can't be your only practice. It must sit beside the work of meeting real conditions in your daily life. At first, when you quiet the mind, you may feel only a blank space, and that can feel scary. It seems to prove there is nothing inside. There's one reason the mind keeps talking. The noise distracts you from the quiet that seems like nothing. So courage helps here. You learn to pass through a short tunnel of not knowing, of uncertainty. You learn to allow the deep quiet that, at first, has no shape or message. Often guidance doesn't arrive on the cushion, if you know what I mean. It comes later, while you wash a mug or walk down the street. Your mind is softer then. It has let go of its grip. That's when the inner voice can reach you. With practice, focused emptiness brings forward what's hidden. At times, you'll see distortions and old fear. Meeting them is not failure, it's guidance. And after that, the light in you speaks more directly. At first, messages may come through the mind as a clear thought that gives you strength. Later, the whole being knows at once. This knowing is not secondhand. It doesn't pass through a chain of ideas. It's full and simple. In that state, every sense works as one. Seeing includes feeling and hearing. The world becomes rich and whole for a moment, and words can't cover it. Focused emptiness is a doorway for the Holy Spirit. The fullness that enters can't be described. Where fear and distrust end, life pours in. This practice doesn't work well when you chase results, though. Expectation creates tension, and tension blocks the very state you need. It may take a long time to taste the deeper stages, so be patient. We keep our hearts soft. In meditation, we also use impressing and expressing. We shape the mind toward truth and service, and we let the channel open in simple ways. If your channel opens at times, keep going with humility. The inner world holds many landscapes. They're not symbols only, they're real in their own measure. Even to consider that can open your view and guide your next steps. You don't need long hours of emptiness. Touch it briefly after prayer, for example. Let it round out your practice. Our main task always remains the same: to grow in true autonomy. Then know that I see your progress. I also see the places that tug you back. Many of us still want a perfect guide outside us who will take over when life feels risky, who will prevent mistakes and spare us the cost of learning. We dream of a life with no error and no consequence. But that dream keeps us small. When you feel confused about yourself or your world, let that be a signal. Ask where you still resist standing in your own life. Notice where you fight authority, all while longing for a version of it that removes all limits. With real autonomy, rebellion softens. You can agree or disagree without fear. You grow willing to ask, to wait, to test, and to see. The child in us wants quick answers. It jumps to conclusions and clings to them. And then life gets more confusing, and we want someone to fix it all. Sometimes the strongest claims of independence hide a wish to avoid responsibility. We demand quiet control over outcomes, and we blame others when reality sets healthy limits. So I invite you to ask yourself a few simple questions. Are you willing to take full responsibility for your choices? Are you willing to accept that you will make mistakes? Are you willing to pay the price and learn? If you are willing, the price drops. It becomes a lesson and a step. Strength for this comes from surrender to God. Then you can stand in the center of your life. You don't run away, deny, or use spirituality to escape. Confusion about community and individuality eases. Surrender and selfhood stop fighting each other. A mature person can lead or follow as needed. If you look back over recent messages, you may sense a new threat. Doors to other states of being becoming open. Now, you may not be ready to step through, which is okay, but knowing they are there is helpful. What blocks the door is often the old wish to avoid full responsibility. But freedom grows to the degree that selfhood grows. Many of you stand well on your own feet and work. You accept effort and gain joy from it. Yet in other areas, the pull to depend can still run deep. Notice how you feel around authority. Notice who you trust and who you doubt. If you don't trust yourself, it's hard to tell who is safe. The loudest inner voice is not always the wisest. The easy path in the moment is not always true autonomy. Real self-trust learns to say no to short-term relief when it harms the long run. True maturity supports a sound life and true spiritual growth. Without it, spiritual work slides into distortions. Psychology helps, but it can't finish the task by itself. Inside, there's so many voices. We learn to tell them apart. The voice of the higher self is quiet at first. It asks for patience and steadiness. Over time, it grows clearer. A healthy group forms when it's made of healthy people. Society can change as more of us grow up inside. Then those who wish to harm lose their pull. Their influence fades. At this time, too many still chase leaders who promise ease without limits and comfort without cost. Deep contact with Christ widens when autonomy grows. Without it, surrender becomes confused. Some give themselves to false guides who offer pleasure without growth. Others, sensing the danger, fear all forms of surrender. The answer is the same though. Build selfhood. Stand in your own life. Then turn your will toward God and listen. As we grow, spirit can move into matter more freely. More of your real being takes shape in daily life. Talents appear that you didn't expect. Wisdom rises. The heart grows strong and kind. These are not things added from outside. They are you moving into the open. Focused emptiness can help. What first felt like a void reveals itself as fullness. You receive what you need from within and give it form in your day. Christ has come many times in many forms, most fully in Jesus. That shows what becomes possible when matter yields to spirit without obstruction. One day, this whole field of life will do the same. The empty places will be filled with living light. When you approach the seeming void without fear, you help that future come closer. The inner space looks empty at first, but it holds the totality of life. The joy of touching it is beyond any other. In that joy, you know your oneness with the Creator. Nothing in you is small. No habit is just psychological. Every choice and way of being touches the larger field. Let that give weight to your work. Let it ease the old split between spiritual and worldly life. Your daily practice matters. Your honesty matters. Your willingness to meet yourself matters. This is how you walk a blessed path, step by step, with your whole being awake. Love you. Connect soon.